Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
I mean, Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you not a bed.
That's it.
If you could pick a Chevy Chase quote from any of the Vacation series, which one would fit this team the most or the best?
I tell you what, David Neal, go buy yourself something really nice.
That I will be retiring from Westlake High School in Eanes ISD as the athletic director and head football coach at the conclusion of the 2021 football season.
Here we are, episode 83. It's kind of bittersweet, Coach Mo. You and I are solo, Big Mike and Hardball Harge on summer vacation. This is, what do you call this? Vacation season. But the guy you just heard speaking is bittersweet because he and I have developed quite a relationship over the years, and he's also Stories Inside the Man Cave VIP alumni coming back on for the third time. Coach Mo, Todd Dodge, the name resonates throughout the state, and I'm pretty sure across the country. And I still can't believe that he stood in front of that mic and said, "This is it."
Yeah, I too, Coach. You're a champion, Coach. So yeah. we want to know what happened. Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving us, Coach?
Well, I tell you what, guys, it's been this will be year 36. I have an 83-year-old mother who is in a assisted living place there in Houston. And then I've got 3 beautiful grandchildren. And so I'm going to take a little time to be a pawpaw and then help take care of my mother and spend some time doing that. And, our time at Westlake, Elizabeth and I, when we got here, really, we were going to be very, very intentional, and we were going to be here 6 years, and it was going to see one full cycle all the way through, which would be a full cycle. For us would be kids that start in our program in 7th grade and go all the way through their senior year. And we got to that, and we won a state championship in 2019 with that group of kids. And when it was over with, I really sat back and kind of chewed on it during that about the 2-month window and said, "Hey, I'm not ready to do it." Still got some meat on the bone, so to speak. And so we went back and did it again last year. And now the time is right. I feel like I've got, everything in order where when I leave, my coaching staff will not be in jeopardy. And they shouldn't be, because in fact, we've won, we've averaged about 13, 14 wins a season over the last 5 or 6 years. So, I tell people all the time, there's a reason why a guy like me makes a guy like Tony Salazar the assistant head coach. You trust him to take care of things when you have to be away doing athletic director duties, stuff like that. But you also are grooming someone to take over, when you leave. And so I feel really good that that's going to happen. And it's just, I feel really good about it. It was sad a little bit. It was hard to stand in front of those kids the other day because when you throw it out to the superintendent, that's one thing, because you're just kind of chopping it up over a period of time over coffee, and then you throw it out to your coaching staff officially, and then when you tell the kids, there's really no going back. It's kind of funny. It's been kind of permeating around the Westlake football scene that this may be my last year. So I don't think it was a huge shock to my kids, but there were some of them that you could tell that it's the first time they'd heard it. So, but one of my leaders on my team he said, Coach, I guess so. It's kind of like you're going to be part of our senior class, right? I go, yeah, I'm kind of going to be like senior class. I'm be like, we're all going out together. And so I'm really looking forward to this year. Every year this time of the season, we're all fired up. Can't wait to get our kids. But this has got a little special feeling to it.
Todd, you and I have had a lot of conversations, and you've had the same conversations, I'm sure, with a lot of people. But when you look back here, and I know we've mentioned this, former UT quarterback, a lot of stories there. Got your first head coaching opportunity at another state power on a much lower level, Cameron Yo. Then you start making that trek up to the DFW area to Carrollton Newman Smith, Keller Fossil Ridge. Then that grandiose opportunity at Southlake. I know they had a tradition there, but you took it to another level. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you win championships at both the 4A and 5A level? That's correct.
No, we didn't. But we were I tell you, the first big accomplishment from a state deal was in year 3 that we were there, which was 2002. We won the state championship it was the first time that anyone had gone up in classification. We went from 4A to 5A and won the state championship the first year. So that's kind of what that was in 2002. But, our first 80 games in the highest classification we were 79-1 over a 5-year window.
God bless. Wow. And those were great times. I mean, Coach Mo, you played in the Houston area, and you kind of caught the beginning of that Southlake run, right? When you were in high school?
No, let's see. I was in high school from that would have been 96 to 99.
Okay,
so
I'm trying to make you younger.
Yeah. Like back in my time, it was always Katy. Katy was a powerhouse. You had it was called McCullough back then, but the Woodlands were good. Humble was good back in my day. But Coach, what you're a legendary coach, man. You've had a lot of young men come through the ranking, come through your system. Mm-hmm. What's the signature message that you're trying to deliver to these young men after they leave and go on and go to college or start their own career path? What's the message you're trying to nail home with those young men?
Our biggest message through the years is to come every day with a servant's heart. Come every day. When I was at Southlake Carroll, it's step into the field house each day and ask what you can do for the Dragons rather than what the Dragons do for you. Right now, I mean, it's said 3 or 4 times a week. Come every morning with an idea of what can I do for someone else. And I think that's such a great lesson to learn in life, because if you spend your time doing for others, usually in life, I think we'd all agree that just great stuff comes flying back at you personally when you're not even knowing it or not expecting it. But if you're one of those guys that's always gimme, what's everybody going to do for me? You usually don't get what you want. And so that's really the biggest thing that we do. And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes to that, but check your ego at the door every day. We all have to remember we're doing something that our state absolutely is in love with, which is Texas high school football. Doesn't make us any better than anybody else. Doesn't make us, top dog or anything like that. But you have to respect the fact that it's, the game of football is one it's different. These kids are going to play it, and then 97% of them, when they get through, they put on the pads the last time in high school. They're never going to do it again. And it's not a sport that when you're 25, 30 years old, you go, hey guys, let's go put pads on, go out the park and, get it on. It's over, So it's got to mean, this sport and going through it has to mean more than blocking and tackling and throwing and catching. And I really do think it's the ultimate team sport from a standpoint of building young men, building young players to become great young men.
Todd, one thing about maybe some listeners, viewers right here. I know right here in the great state of Texas, Texas High School Coach Association, a lot was made of that state championship game last year, mainly because, and you and I talked about it here. We did on here on Stories Inside the Man Cave, you versus Riley, Riley versus you. He, the head coach at the program that you won so many state championships. The one image, and I know this sounds awkward maybe coming from me, but last year was the first state championship weekend that I ever got to spend, or earlier this year, as a fan. Mm-hmm. And to sit up in that box and those seats and to see you and Elizabeth with those grandkids before and after the game. Mm-hmm. I never told you this. I kind of sensed, okay, I see a transition here. And am I right for thinking that? Because I started thinking I need to prepare myself. This was probably one more year left in the tank.
Yeah. You know, those are those times don't happen enough for me right now. And so I think when you get to that point in your life where you get to hug that 6-year-old and that 3-year-old and that 1-year-old, you get to hold them. And, you know, and for me, you know, I get to do that, you know, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And well, you know what? That's just not enough right now. And so I explain that to our football players. You go into a different deal of life, you know. So you know, as we enter retirement, you know, I live out here at Horseshoe Bay, a beautiful place, and all that. I love this place, but I'm not ever going to be a guy that's going to play golf 4 or 5 days a week. That's just not me. You know, I mean, I like it. I don't, you know, I'm not going to be that guy. So, you know, I see myself staying in the football industry in some form or fashion. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but that's that is my wish and my prayer that I get to stay in it. You know, the camps that I've been doing through the years have been ones that we absolutely love doing, and we're kind of spreading out all over the state doing those. So those will continue. And I get, you know, I'll get to go support Riley, and I'll get to go support Tony and Kirk Rogers and Brandon Murdoch, Jason Jones, all my guys at Westlake. So what a pretty cool deal is to, you know, here, hopefully for a while, I've got, you know, my boys at Westlake coaching Westlake, and I got my son at Southlake coaching Southlake, and I get to go support both of them. And along the way, I get to spend time with my grandkids.
That's the life. That's the life, man. Hey, one of these days we're going to grow up and live that life just like Todd Dodge.
Indeed.
Mo, but I was going to bring up the fact that, you know, before we transition to the Man Cave story, unique opportunity. You going out, and I know it'd be a storybook opportunity here for you to go out with another state championship. That it would mean that Westlake would have three-peated. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the country, that being a prep quarterback in Cade Klubnik. And I know the quarterback is your specialty and receives all the attention the quarterback always does. But you've been able to coach up, develop guys that we all know and we've seen, dating back to Southlake and Sam Ellinger, who is like a son to you. Mm-hmm. Where does Cade Klubnik, where does he fit in on that mantle of quarterbacks you've been able to coach and develop?
Well, I'll just say this. He is he's one of 7 to win a state championship with us. So they're all equally, because they can all call themselves champions. He most closely reminds me of my son Riley when Riley played for me. You know, Riley was a dual threat guy, very, very accurate. And Cade's the same way. The great thing about Cade is as a offensive designer or play caller, you can't ever say, well, you know, we can't do that because he's just not equipped to do that. Or you may say, well, we can't get him out of the pocket on the run because he's just really not that mobile. Or we can't run, you know, true quarterback run with him because it's not going to be very effective. He really is. He can do it all, you know, and it cracks me up when when all these people across the country they try to label him as a pro style quarterback, and this big pocket, sitting there, and this lumbering pocket quarterback. And I asked him when they some of the national media will call and ask. I said, "Have y'all ever seen him play? In person? I mean, are y'all just reading? I mean, just because someone on Rivals said put pro style instead of dual threat, which it really doesn't matter. It's all about production. But the dude can flat out skin it. I mean, as far as running, I mean, he can really run, and that's why him and Riley they were both very twitchy, very athletic. So that's that. Sam and Chase Daniel. Which Chase is entering his 13th year in the league and Sam's entering his first. They were very, very similar. Big, thick,
right,
tough guy, dual threat guys, but they were the kind of guy run over you and not run past you.
Coach, would you credit 7-on-7 for turning Texas into like the place for quarterbacks coming out of high school?
Well, it has absolutely helped. It has absolutely helped. And, it started about the mid 90s with a group of us in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We started having camp. I mean, we had started having tournaments before they ever had the state tournament, and we'd get together and we'd do about 4 or 5 a summer, and, different groups would host them. And then that took off. And, it's funny how I think back about, when I was coming through in 1978, 79, 80, my high school team was doing 7-on-7 before anybody knew what it was. And, but we were just doing it against each other during the summer. It was getting together and going, okay, offense gets the ball, defense, we just played basically touch football, down the field, but it was 7-on-7. But it absolutely has helped the state of Texas turn from, in the, late 70s, early 80s, into all the way into the 90s, people still running, split back veer, wishbone. And there's more people running the spread and throwing it. And then, it's interesting to see some of the type of athletes that are going to the position now that used to would go a different direction.
All right. The best part of the show. I mean, it's always a good time. We could do this for 2 hours with you, but, the Jim Saxon State Farm Insurance Agency man cave story to sum up your career. Obviously, we can revise that in December with a 7th state championship and a 3-peat at Westlake. Is there one story that maybe you could tell, and Westlake related, that you knew that for sure, maybe a humorous moment that you knew for sure that you could continue the legacy and the championship pedigree of Westlake? Because a lot of people don't know your late father-in-law, the great Ebby Neptune, pretty much started that program. And then your wife is the daughter of Ebby Neptune. So you guys had tremendous ties to that program. For those watching in other parts of the country, is there one moment where you just knew we are going to bring Westlake back to where it should be and create a dynasty, so to speak?
Well, I don't know about all that, but I will tell you a story. I will tell you a story about how I almost screwed it up for myself and never would have the opportunity. So I'm playing. Ebby is the head football coach and athletic director in the window of like 81 through about 87, maybe something like that. Well, I started dating Elizabeth when we were in college. We started dating our junior year, and of course, he's the head football coach and athletic director at Westlake. I'm the starting quarterback at University of Texas, and I'm dating his daughter. And so I go out to the house, and so it was about this time of year. It was like the summer of 1984 or something like that. And he had his rent car, and it was a nice sedan, and he was getting ready to go to coaching school, to the coach convention the next morning. And Elizabeth talked him into letting us take the car out on a date that night. So that was like a Saturday night. He was leaving on Sunday morning. So we go out and we have dinner and everything. And so I never forget, it's probably one of the last times I feel like I've ever been on I-35, because I've lived back in Austin for like 10 years now. And I try to stay off I-35 as much as possible. But I was going down an access ramp right there around the 6th Street area, whatever, and this guy comes in behind me, and he absolutely shoved our trunk into the back seat.
Oh,
just from behind. And so we had to go. We had to come back. I had to come back, and I mean, Coach Neptune, I probably had met him like 3 times. It's about the 3rd time I dated his daughter. Now I'm coming back and screwed up his car. You know, he's leaving the next morning. God, he was so pissed off. He was so pissed. And so people ask me a lot of times, they say, well, what do you think about that? I said, I don't know. We've had a lot of really good things happen to us at Westlake and all that, but I almost screwed it up by wrecking his car back before I ever married his daughter.
I did this whole entire time. I had never heard that story before.
Well, y'all, this is a man cave original right here. This has never been told to the Westlake Nation. So y'all get the
exclusive.
The exclusive. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. But on the other side of things, you know, when we got here, I probably understood more than anybody that they could have hired what had come before us. And I've been at 2 places, South Lake Carroll, and I've been at Westlake. That there's been great tradition have come before us, great coaches, great players. And just while it was on our watch, I was at South Lake for 7. I'm at Westlake going on 8. You know, it's a tough deal to raise the bar at those 2 places. And I'm really proud of the fact that during the time that we were there, I think we raised the bar, you know, and that's really tough to do. And really it's all about honoring what came before us. And our kids constantly are getting a history lesson on what came before them, and making sure that they are understanding that and keeping up that legacy. And frankly, they're going to want someone here 15 years from now keeping up the great work that they've been doing.
Absolutely.
100%, Coach. I think Hards almost called Coach Mo Hards, and it's not because you're black. Real quick, I mean, it's the hottest topic, and Coach Mo and I are going to talk about it at length in segment 2, but the realignment of college football, we knew it was coming for, I guess, the past decade. It was going to happen at some point. But your thoughts on Texas locking arms with OU and going to the big bad SEC?
Yeah. I think we all are asking ourselves that. What do you think? What do you think? I'm like, let's roll.
Yeah.
You know, because it's going to happen. So you might as well embrace it. It's going to happen within the next 4 or 5 years. Anyway, it's just the deal. I think, you know, I try to think of things in as simplistic as possible. And one of the things we always tell our players, you know, we want to appear to be complicated, but really be simple, you know. And so my deal is I just hope when this all comes out, you know, is that, okay, say we got the super conference. You got Division I. Well, maybe that's 48 teams. Well, let them play for a national championship, those 48 teams. Let's take the next 48. Okay, maybe they call that Division II. Well, let's let them play for a championship too. And this, you know, so my point is, I think that one of the things that the powers to be need to do is make sure that every level of football has an opportunity to play for a conference championship, however that looks, and a national championship, however that looks, you know, within their own deal. Because right now, with 137, they say Division I football teams, there's really only about 48 of them that have an opportunity to win a national championship.
That's true.
Those poor guys, you know, I mean, I coached at a place, you know, at the University of North Texas, you know, these great teams, the Cincinnati's of the world, the Boise States of the world. Who's you kidding yourself? They're never going to have an opportunity to win a national championship. That's never going to happen. Right. I mean, it's even going to be tough if they go to 12 teams. So do what you're going to do, split it all up, but just keep, you know, I mean, what's wrong with having 6A football, 5A football, 4A football, 3A football? I guarantee you everybody's playing for a district championship and everybody's playing for a state championship when it all starts. And that's how we do it in our state of Texas. I don't know why we couldn't do that in the country.
100%. TD, it's been a pleasure, man. And I'm sure this won't be the last time that you're inside the stories inside the man cave. You've got a permanent couch over here in the corner. We got a big screen for you anytime, and then a cooler in the middle.
Yep.
With favorite Rocky Mountain Kool-Aid. I know that's your chosen beverage, right?
SC, I'm going to tell you now, here about this time next year, I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands, so don't forget me.
Absolutely not. And we'll come out and watch the Shaps. And as you make that curtain call for your coaching career, it's been a good one. And hopefully we'll end up in Arlington and we'll all, come watch you guys. That's a fun time, and it's a great deal.
Okay, so we got period 1 starts at 5:45 a.m. on August 9th.
We'll be there.
Hey, Coach, Tim, tell you what, Clinch was always there when he was there. He hadn't been there in a while. I'm expecting him to be back.
There you go.
Mo's been on my ass to get there for a 6 a.m. workout for 2 months now, and I'm going to shock him, and I'm going to shock you. And Mo's probably, hey, Mo, we got to go to at least one practice. We can do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, Sean, just bring your camera. Just bring a camera. It don't even have to have any film in or anything. Just because those kids love to have a camera around. They have a better practice. So just put it on your shoulder and let's roll.
Let's do it, man. It might even be a cell phone. No social media.
No.
Great Todd Dodge, legendary Texas high school football coach. On the other side, as we already talked about a little bit of Texas and the SEC, Coach Mo, the Aggie, and I, we're going to go back and forth about this, the SEC debate. It's happening. Todd Dodge, lots of love. Tell your family hello, and we will be in touch soon. We'll wrap things up on the other side of this break.
Go.
For all of your insurance needs, look no further than our primary sponsor, Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. The ATX OG has been insuring Austin for over 3 decades. And get this, Jim Saxton is a Longhorn legacy. He is the son of the late, great James Saxton, who was a Heisman finalist. Be sure to give him a call, or better yet, visit his website, saxtoninsurance.com, and tell him that the stories inside the Man Cave Boys recommended you. Coach Mo, at Coach Mo's Elite Fitness, getting the point of view from up the ground. What are we looking at here?
That's sweet. They do change later.
He's over there training kids, future Anderson Trojans. We're all looking up Coach Mo's shorts.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. That was the transition. The Big 12, as you saw. Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC, and as we're recording, Coach Mo, the invitations have been sent out to both Texas and Oklahoma to join your Aggies in the SEC. First and foremost, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts on that happening now. It's real. It's a real deal. Your thoughts on the Longhorns and Sooners joining your guys, the Aggies, in the SEC.
I think it's fucking awesome. I think it's great. It's great for the state of Texas. I don't, the powers that be may have an issue with it. Shit, I don't give a damn. Shit,
I don't either, man. I think it's long overdue. I mean, it's a lot to unpack. But get this estimated number. All right, so Big 12 currently, with Texas and Oklahoma in it, generated revenue per program from the Big 12 grant of rights, TV rights, $38 million a year. SEC gets $45 million a year, each program. All right. With the addition of Texas and Oklahoma, it's estimated to be $60 million per program in the SEC. That's a no-brainer, don't you think?
That's a no fucking brainer. Add that up. Come on.
I mean, You gotta. I mean, it is business, man, and we're going toward the super conferences. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Everybody knew this was coming. Hell, shit, this was just a matter of time when this was going to happen, and I guarantee we just not talking about this now. The balls have been motion with this for probably the past year or 2 years, probably. I guarantee it.
I kind of saw it. You know, I think the Big 12 hit its peak at 08 season when Oklahoma State, Missouri, Oklahoma State, OU, Texas. There were 4 or 5 programs who were in the top 10 together as we had a power outage over there at Coach Mo's Elite Fitness. Hopefully he comes back because I have a video.
I'm here. I'm here, baby. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah.
Well, you went dark on us, but that's all right. I'm glad you're here, man. It's not the same without you, bro.
Black don't crack, baby. Let's go.
That's what I know it. I need more melanin in my skin so I will age better. You know, but I've got to show you this, Coach Mo, and everybody listening. The Horns and Aggies are great for the state of Texas and for college football. I know Texas and OU is more of a national rivalry, but there's a little parody right here. I want you to see this, Coach Mo. It's pretty funny. A clip. I don't know who did this, but it's absolutely hilarious. Took a clip from a
I know
movie.
which one you finna show. You finna show the one with Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Let's roll.
Finally, we get to the back. We get to the back. Wait.
There's a reason why Texas A&M left the Big 12, to be standalone, to have our own identity.
So good.
Dude, I wish everybody could have seen the look on your face while we were watching it in the corner. That was absolutely hilarious. It's what the rivalry is all about, why we need this thing. The audio you heard was the athletic director at A&M, Ross Bjork, when this rumor started during SEC media days. And, you know, there was a handshake agreement that you guys, Texas A&M, your alma mater, or where you started, would be the standalone Texas program in the SEC. It was a handshake agreement.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think not only does this add value, Texas and A&M really do need each other?
Well, they do need each other. Like, you know, it's like that uncle, that cousin over there that you don't like talking to because they always start shit. But hey, you need each other. It's what it is. But you know, it's going to be interesting though for these other schools that, you know, are getting the shaft. You know, the Oklahoma States, the Baylor's. You know, they're going to get the shaft because I guarantee with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, I bet their enrollment is going to go down. Guarantee it.
You think enrollment or the level of athlete they're able to recruit? Because I want to think about this, bro. Texas Tech played in the national championship game in basketball 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Baylor won it.
Yeah, Baylor won it.
Won it all. So I know being a private school kind of hurts Baylor, kind of hurts TCU, but you would think a public school like Tech wouldn't have a problem. So the big question is, what happens now to the Big 12 as we know it as of today of this recording?
Well, it's going to change big time. I think the Big 12 goes away, and all those other schools will have to find a conference to go to. Okay, so you say at Texas Tech, basketball program's pretty good. Football program is, decent, decent. Track and field program is really good. What conference is going to say, okay, let's take them just based upon the fact their basketball program is good? Because, the football and baseball program is good. So I can see them going to like a Pac-12 maybe, maybe a ACC, same thing for Baylor. Baylor has a really good basketball program. They can slide in somewhere. But then you got like your Kansas. Where Kansas is going to go? I can see a Kansas somehow if they, but I guess SEC will have 16 teams now, right? When Oklahoma and Texas join. Yeah, right. So they're not going to probably take on anyone. So Kansas is going to probably have to go maybe Big Ten. They got a good basketball program, but who's going to take them based upon their football program?
That's the big question. From what all indications lead, though, the Pac-12 is not looking to expand as of right now. I think the program who's really I'm concerned about is Kansas State, but more so because of my ties to have covered in the state of Oklahoma back in my previous career. That being Oklahoma State, because Bedlam, will it continue? I was on a Oklahoma City radio station 2 times last week, and it was like OU and Oklahoma State on handshake agreement. We're going to help each other. We need each other tight. Well, now Oklahoma State's kind of left out. What do we do? What happens? Because I don't blame OU leaving at all. I don't. They have the cachet like Texas.
Yep.
It's all about eyeballs. You know that. It's about revenue and TV.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with anything, but if Texas goes anywhere, you have to bring OU with them just because of that rivalry that they have together. Like, you have to bring the Red River. So the SEC just made their platform 10 times more attractive. Like, the SEC is now the premier conference in college sports. Big Ten
hands down.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
The thing that there's a lot of rumors circulating, but what I see happening is one of 2 things. For the remaining programs of the Big 12, the American Athletic Conference, which is pretty good, Cincinnati, Central Florida, SMU, I kind of see that as an opportunity for the AAC to expand. Or if the Big 12 wants to say, listen, we have these Big 12 programs standing behind here, we could generate more revenue than the AAC potentially, because there will be the state of Texas eyeballs will be on the Baylors, the Texas Techs. Unlike A&M in Texas and Oklahoma, they're not going to produce that many eyeballs on as far as viewership ratings and such. So it's going to be either the Big 12 adds AAC members or vice versa. That's just what I think happens. I mean,
well, the Big 12 has the power and the infrastructure to do it. It's just what teams they're going to go after. They can get like a BYU if they want it. They can get maybe, cherry pick some more teams from the ACC. They could potentially. They just got to get that one, like, big school or somewhat big school to come with them. Like, who would that be?
Yeah,
who would that be? Like, Notre Dame ain't definitely going nowhere, so they not going to join a conference. But if they were somehow to finagle and get a Notre Dame, that would be attractive.
Oh,
but
huge.
Who could they get?
Notre Dame definitely. They're not going to share any revenue. I wouldn't.
No,
at all.
They're not sharing anything.
Let's keep it all to ourselves. I tell you what's attractive, Mo, is college baseball fans in the SEC. Every weekend, it's going to raise. There will be more and more interests than there already is. But every weekend is a grind. And you guys at A&M, you guys experienced that. I've always thought A&M was more of an SEC type of environment as far as fitting the mold of what the SEC is. But now college baseball is going to be phenomenal. And, man, that is something always positive and good to talk about. And speaking of.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Hey, the voice, DJ Harge, the younger son of our brother, Hardball Harge. That was his voice. He's absent. So is Big Mike. They're on vacation. Tell me something good, my brother.
Man, let's see. What's good? Summer is wrapping up. Some of our camps that we're doing has come to an end. We're very proud of the work that we've put in when it comes to our summer camps and our strength conditioning programs. But we get like a little break before we get back hustling and pounding again with some of our after school programs. So I am fortunate that I get this little break coming up and get to watch my daughter compete in the Junior Olympics that will be taking place in Houston, north side of Houston, Humble, Texas area. So that's going to be fun. Next week I'll be there watching her compete and hopefully try to get on that platform and get some hardware.
Hey, she's got the right genetics. Mom and dad both provided her. They equipped her with the resources, so to speak. Hey, brother, my contribution to the Tell Me Something Good segment sponsored by Cosmic Coffee and Beer Garden on the south side of Austin. Man, I tell you what's good. The fact that we can smell football season. We can smell it, the preseason workouts. This has always been, this 2 or 3 week period leading up to August has always been kind of special to me because you're loving life. People are, even with the COVID variant increasing the numbers, they're everywhere. People are enjoying themselves outside more often. Hell, I've seen more kids outside lately than I ever have, which is odd. But we're getting ready for football season, and you feel it, and people are getting excited. And I think in this part of the country, Mo, I'm starting to notice a little extra kick in everyone's step because of what is going to happen. And I think this may be the last year, honestly, that Texas and Oklahoma are in the Big 12, and people are excited about that. Technically, they're supposed to stay through, I believe, 2024.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be some legal battles to settle that and allow these two programs to start in the SEC as early as next season. That's my something good.
That would be interesting.
I think it's very possible. I mean, it's, I just don't see the reason why you would want to stick around in a conference that you don't want to be a member of for 3 more years. Makes no sense.
That's true.
So we got to thank our segment 1 guests, a guy that we all love to talk to. You guys had a good conversation today. The Todd Dodge retiring after 36 years of coaching. Segment 1 guest, longtime friend. He's a friend of our podcast. And Coach Mo, we appreciate him and always taking the time to be on Stories Inside the Man Cave. For the absent Hardball Harge and Big Mike and my brother right here, Coach Mo and the Todd Dodge.
Yeah.
We out.
Wake your ass up.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.